Congratulations, you are giving your first talk at a conference in person, and this is really exciting, and now you need to make slides. And here are 3 tips that I have learned after over a decade of giving slides and talks in person that hopefully will help you avoid some of my mistakes. The very first one I will talk about is when you are in person, you are probably using a projector, and that projector is going up on a screen, and the way screens work and projectors work is the darkest you can get is only as dark as the room will let you. If it's gray in the room and the lighting's bad and the projector display is not fully blacked out, or it's not fully white actually, projectors only project light and they cannot project darkness. So you want contrast. The main thing you need is contrast, and the easiest way to get that is to actually just use a light theme. You can project light a lot better than you can project darkness. If this is on a TV or on a giant display or something that has backlights, you probably do not want a white backgrounds. And if this is a projector, it'll be easier to see this in the back if you have a lot of contrast, and the easiest way to get that is start with a light theme. Light themes do not look good on your computer when you're creating the demo. It doesn't look good in your dark office, but this is going to help you get your visualization all the way to the back of the room. Right now, you are sitting in the 5th row with nobody in front of you. If you are sitting in the 10th row or the 20th row, this might be a little bit harder to see. All of these things will matter for the person that is sitting in the back, and I guarantee you almost no one's going to sit in the front 2 rows anyway, so make your slides work for the person at the second half of the room. Light themes and displays apply to your demos as well. If you are doing a demo and this is a technical talk, make sure you know how to switch to a light theme. A dark theme with all of its pretty colors might be okay as long as there is enough contrast. But if there's not enough contrast, you will want to switch to a light theme. Make sure your terminal emulator, your IDE, whatever it is, has a way to have a high contrast, bright background if you need it, because you may need it. I will also point out that the text size of any of these displays, you can never go too big. I've never been once in a talk where as long as the stuff that you need to show fits on the screen, it is better to simplify what's on the screen and go as large as you can than it is to make it smaller so it fits. See what you can take out, what is not necessary on a demo, so that the things that are important, the things you want people to see and focus on, are the things on the display. Talking about those people that are in the back half of the room, you need to keep all of your text above a middle point of your slides. Whatever text, granted, maybe you shouldn't be putting this much text on the display, but I like to imagine that about 60% the way down, there is a red line, and I try not to put anything important below there. If there's something like my contact information or the page number or the company or do not distribute this slide deck, that can go at the very bottom and I don't care. No one actually has to see it. It's just there so that people know, oh, I saw this slide deck and maybe I don't share it. But the important things in your slides, they should go above this 60% mark because they might be sitting behind someone that's tall. They might have whatever problems to see your display. Let me move you to the back of the room real quick and you'll see why. You are now in the very back row of this same conference hall, and there's no one here, so you don't have to worry about seeing over anyone. But if there were people in your way, you would probably only be able to see that. But again, the text cannot ever be too big. Put your stuff big and bold in this area so everyone can see it. That is the thing you want them to focus on. That is the point you are trying to make. Again, this also goes for demos and whatever it is you're showing off. I'm going to move you up close so you can see it again. I run my demos usually in Tmux for 2 reasons. One, it is very easy to scroll. I can obviously make my text bigger, but also I get this super handy command. If I run Tmux split W with empty quotes, I get this really cool bar that just goes right across the bottom of my screen. And that's always going to keep my text above that bar. I can move this bar depending on how crowded the room is, how high the screen is, all of that sort of stuff. But if I run HTOP now, it's going to cut off a lot more of the display and you may not see everything. I can, again, move it up and down. But for general commands, if I'm trying to ls a directory or show someone a command here, This is going to keep all of that text above that bottom half, and so I don't have to keep clearing the display. I don't have to keep showing people, oh yeah, just look down here, oh let me run it again, hold on a second. I keep this bar that makes sure that none of my text is going to go below that point. Another quick tip on these demos is if you type the command clear, it's going to clear your display, but it also clears your buffer, your history. Versus if you do something like ls and you hit Control L, that'll move you back up to the top of the display, but still allow you to scroll back in the history without actually losing the history. So Control L is a shortcut for clear, but without erasing what came before it. It just moves you to the top of the display. And the final tip I want to talk about with any sorts of slides, especially in person, is do not distract your audience. And this means you don't want to put too much text on there. You don't want to put some things that make people think while you're talking. If you put a complicated image on the display, they're going to look at that image and not listen to you. They're going to think, what's going to happen in that image? Oh, how do those cars or balls work? What's going to happen if this one? I lost the audience. I made something interesting, but I'm really trying to make a point. And the pictures and slides should be supporting what I'm saying and not me supporting the slides. They're there to hear from me and not read my slide deck. This also goes for keeping your slides simple and putting big words up there, but make people think, what are you going to say to lead me to that point? There's going to be something coming up, but I don't know what it is. And so people are going to try to predict what you're going to say instead of listening to you. And you can't be afraid of being the focus of the talk. Okay? You're talking in person, a lot of people are going to be looking at you. Make sure that you are the focal point and not the slides. And along those lines of not making people think, never make people do math. Don't make people look at a bunch of numbers and try to figure out what the outcome is. Any sort of math is going to be too much while you're talking to them and trying to explain some complex topic. So instead of saying like 20% of 250 attendees, you should simplify that and do the math ahead for them and just say 200 people. Okay? Don't make them do the math. Don't give them too much to think about. And again, all the slides are supporting what I'm saying. I'm not supporting my slides. Okay? Make sure that you always get to that point of, hey, by the way, I'm the one giving the talk, not the slides. And finally, as a little bonus here, put your contact information at the end of the slide deck. Lots of people start with it and they put all their email or handles for social media at the very beginning. People don't know if they want to contact you until the very end of the talk. They don't know if the talk was good. They don't know if they have questions or follow-up or whatever. So put that information at the very end of your talk and allow people to contact you that way. This also is helpful for things like Q&A. And you say, hey, we're going to talk about some questions and we're going to go around the room, pass the mic, whatever. You leave this slide up. With your contact information, people can write it down then. They have plenty of time and you're not burning through slides to get to your next point. And so those are a few tips for you if you're giving your first talk, especially in person and especially through a projector in a room that has actual people in it.